Right, legends, your boy Legendary Johnny, and in this video I'll be giving you the weekly news roundup of every important news, both generally and in the Ukraine-Russia sphere, in terms of the war, right? So let's dive right into it. On Sunday, June 18th, which was last week, right? There was no general important news, but there was important news in the Ukraine-Russia war. So on that day, heavy fighting occurred in Zaporozhye region on the front line. But because of the relentless assault, the constant pressure that the Russian forces were coming under, they had to withdraw from Pyatikaki. I know I'm not gonna that name, I'm apologizing, but at least I tried, right? They withdraw from that town to the east of Lhov late in that morning, right? But they came back on a counterattack and it seemed to have failed based on evidence that I saw. But anyways, the last thing on that day is that the Russian army withdrew from Rivnopil in Donetsk. So that's all that happened on Sunday. Now on to Monday, June 19th. We had general important news, but there was no important news in the Ukraine-Russia war on that day. So the general important news is that there was a meeting between US and China delegation. It is a complete failure because they did not achieve their sole purpose, which was setting up military to military communication between the US and China, because China has rejected it. So it was just a complete disaster for the US. And then the last thing on that day is that Congress urged Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who was testifying before a congressional committee, to prepare for China to dump $859 billion in US Treasury debt notes overnight. They're probably fearing a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, but who knows. So that's all that happened on Monday. Now let's move on to Tuesday. So on Tuesday, June 20th, we had general important news, but once again we had no Ukraine Russia important news. Alright, so on the general important news for that day is that Washington is alarmed because there was China and Cuba negotiation going on in building a new training center that would put Chinese troops barely 100 miles off the coast of Florida. I don't know why they're panicking. It's not like anybody can invade the US, because every blade of grass there is a barrel of gun that you would be facing, so it would be impossible to invade. So there's no worry about that. Alright, the next thing is that on Wednesday, June 21st, we had no news at all to give you. None at all. It was just dead news day. I went to sleep that day. It was peaceful. Alright, the next thing is that on Thursday, June 22nd, I hope I did not mix up that date. If I did, I apologize. But on Thursday, sorry, see, I mixed up the date. June 22nd, we had no general important news, but we had Ukraine Russia important news. So on that note, according to Russian reports, a Ukrainian breakthrough through Russian defensive lines at Ropny has occurred, right? And the president of Ukraine was warning about a terror attack by Russia against the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. Now, two things first here before we move on to the next story is that the terror attack could very well be a false flag by Ukraine itself, or it could be a false flag by any other entities, right? I know I'm probably going to get some stick for that, but I am a neutral person, right? I see things on both sides of the aisle, and that is both sided, right? But anyways, the next thing is that the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant is a red light for the data, because if anything happens there and a radiation leak occurs and radiation spills into NATO countries, it is Article 5. And then Russia said if they declare Article 5, it's a said nuclear war, and I don't need to tell you that we do not need that, right? Because it's the end of the world as we know it. Alright? So let's move on to the third story that happened on that day, is that over the Caspian Sea, cruise missiles X-101 were launched into Ukraine. And in Kyiv, which this is the last story for Thursday, in Kyiv, a new call for general mobilization was issued. Alright? So now let's move on to Friday, June 23rd. As we all know, it was all over the news world, was that Wagner and Russian forces were having it out over alleged killing of Wagner troops, right? We still don't know if it actually happened, or was the Wagner chief just was tripping or just totally lying, alright? But it was just a bizarre situation where the Wagner forces were just marching all the way to the doorstep of Moscow to just bizarrely just turning back to their base because of the stuck. If you want more information on that, I posted a video on it, so just go check it out in the channel, right? But on Friday there was no UK and Russia important news. Well, the Russian Wagner bizarre situation is kinda UK and Russia related, but in terms of the war right now, there wasn't none. There was no news that day. Alright? And on Saturday, June 24th, that was also a dead day. No news at all in either fronts. So yeah, so that's all the news that has happened last week from June 18th to June 24th. Now until next Sunday again, I will give you another weekly news roundup. But if you like this video, just please hit the like button. Also, if you want more content like this, just hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, or choose all notification if you want to be notified as I drop a news video. It can happen at any moment depending on events. Hence, if the reports are full, I will just drop a video for giving you what I have on the current event that's happening. Also, just leave your thoughts or your opinions or any event that you want me to summarize down below. I will summarize the events that you request me to summarize as best as I possibly can to the best of my abilities. Alright? Until next video, guys. Legend out.